Welcome to today's episode of the Group Therapy Podcast. Last night I had the honor of getting I guess an advanced screening of Tapeworm Z from our esteemed guest today, director. Man, I'm not. My wife pointed this out. Your name is everywhere in them credits. You did.
Yep.
She goes, "Is the Jacob? Is that the Jake the same guy we keep seeing?" I'm like, I believe so. Yes, I'm gonna say.
No. Jacob is actually my oldest son.
Oh, Jacob's your oldest son. Okay, so I was wrong. So now I gotta go tell her now. But yeah, you guys were like Jake.
Yeah.
You were a man of many hats on this project. I can
Oh
tell.
yeah. Always am, man.
Well, this is what you gotta be. People ask me how I do all my stuff I do now. I was like, well, I don't sleep for shit, and my wife hates it. Uh, and I'm always in the basement, always working on something. So, but
Yep.
I sir, before I keep going and stepping all over you here, tell us about yourself.
So my name's Jake Perry. I'm the director, producer, writer, blah 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 of Slash and Chill Production. We've been around 8 years, made tons of shorts, two longer shorts that are about a half an hour that both have distribution deals, which is crazy for shorts to have it. And one of which actually led into this one, which is our first full length feature film. And as you said, I mean, I wore tons of hats making this thing. I write them, direct them, raise all the money, do the special effects, do it all, man, do it all.
It was funny because my wife goes, "Who is the guy?" I was like, I'm 90% sure the guy begging for money in the streets is the guy that created the movie
Yes.
because that's
Yeah.
perfect. I think everybody wishes they could put themselves in a movie begging. Like, well, what do you do? I need some money, man. I'm making a movie.
Yeah, and if you look, there's a lot of jokes in that little spot. If
Oh,
you
yeah.
look at the
Indy
sign
no. It's just
and the no fund me.
no fun me. Oh my god. And it's bad because I'm not going to throw all these people, all these Indiegogos and GoFundMe's underneath the bus, but I've donated to a lot of them over the years, and I've actually received this much of my stuff.
Really?
I have never got the first physical thing sent to me ever. Now I've gotten my screen credits, I've got my executive producer credits. It's on my, and the worst part about it is that I keep telling everybody, I was like, I already have an IMDb page, put it on there, and I'll send them the link. I have 3 IMDb pages. I have one for my being in movies. I have one for executive producer credits, and I have one for thank you credits. I'm like, just shove them all together
Yeah,
so I can have one really good one instead of 3 shitty ones.
yeah. Sadly, on IMDb, I'm Jake Perry 8. It's like, what the fuck?
Oh, dude, I'm like Paul Lee, like 47 or some shit like that. I'm like the only white guy. There are a lot of Asian guys there. And what funny story. I like telling this story because I had to tell it the other day. A few years back, I get this notification asking me if I wanted to do a TED talk. I'm like, hell do
Oh,
I want to do a TED talk for? And so I contacted the number that was sent to me. And they're like, yeah, we want to fly you out here. We want to set you up. We want to hook you up with a TED talk. And I'm like, who do you think I am? And you're Paul Lee, right? We're like, yeah, hey, Paul Lee. I am. And somebody had mistaken and gotten my email. And I think he was like the head of program development or programming for NBC. They wanted that guy.
dude, you should have
Oh,
totally done it.
my wife goes, I think they can get you for fraud if you do that.
Oh,
And,
true.
and I'm like, because I was going to do it. I was almost packing my shit ready to go. And my wife's like, I think they can sue you for fraud or something like that. And I'm like, they contacted me and wanted me to come. I've had the same thing happen one other time, completely different. I had a convention contact me. This guy goes, "Oh, I love all your work in comics and stuff like that." I'm like, "What the hell you mean all my work in comics? I'm a comic book dealer. I've been in this since I was 15. I don't know anything else." And he goes, you're not the comic book artist? I was like, oh, fuck no, I'm not the comic book artist. I was like, I haven't got that kind of talent.
Right?
But I was like, I will totally take a table if you're going to give me one.
Right? Screw it, put me on.
Yeah. But that's like when I actually got invited to a con. I was like, are you sure you want me to come to you? You give me a table and a space. Yeah. Nothing? Are you sure? You're right. And I did. I got invited as a guest, and it was weird. So,
That's pretty funny.
but about me here. Sorry about that. I did not mean to.
Good.
But man, I gotta admit, you know, you did it. It's a fun movie. It is it is goofy. It is over the top. Ocho, I'm not gonna try to butcher his last name, so I'm not even gonna attempt it. He's hilarious. And then you told me you're like, watch all the way through, watch the credits, and then watch the extra scenes. Because I kept going, I'm like, how did I get to this building? I don't know what's going on. And then the things at the end, I'm like, oh, that's how they got there. Right there. They walked in that guy's building.
Yeah.
And me and my wife were like, oh, now we figured it out. That's great.
I always have hidden stuff that plays into each other.
Oh,
I
yeah.
try to do that for those people that rewatch stuff.
Oh,
Because,
yeah.
you know, back in the day, we'd go to a freaking video store and we'd rent a movie and we'd watch it 10 times before we'd take it back.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And you're always trying to find that little stuff. Like in this movie, and you know Tony Covington.
Oh, I knew Tony, yeah.
That dude has killed himself trying to find Chucky, Jason, and Michael Myers. They're all in it. But you just have to search and find them. I finally had to point out Michael Myers to him because he never could find him.
I did see Chucky. I did see Jason. I didn't look for Michael, so I'll have to look next time.
Worst part is he's just dead there in your face. And
Dead center, middle of the picture, like somebody. Well, you're not looking for it, so you're not gonna. You're like watching everything going on in there, in the foreground and the background or whatever is not going to be. Literally, the only thing I remind was I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden that good guy box is just right there. You can't miss it. So it's
yeah. I don't make them forefront. I mean, you got to look for them, but
oh yeah,
yeah, they're there. They're there.
See, that's what I love. I have an idea for a movie, and I've actually talked to my actress who's going to be in it. And I go, anytime you're on screen, I want you dressed like a different girl from a different horror movie and never explain it. So literally, I went and found some of the clothes at like a Goodwill that matched up some of the clothes. And I think not going to say word one. This is, if somebody finds this, goes and finds this movie when I'm done, if I ever get it finished, and they're like, oh, she's wearing, oh, okay. but you're going to pay attention. So. And I like movies you got to pay attention to. So,
oh yeah, if you go back, I have I have the shorts on YouTube, and I also have them all on our website /inchill.com. You can actually go in there and find them. If you go watch Serial Killer Alien Werewolves, first thing I ever made, intentionally the worst movie ever, but it turned out to be so fucking fantastic. In its awfulness. When you realize we were trying to make it awful, it makes it great. My oldest daughter stars in it. Every scene that she's on camera, her hair's a different color. And there's one scene where she's sitting on a couch and then she stands up and her hair is different colors in both of those shots.
it's soap opera logic, as I used to call it. Shit would change and they wouldn't explain it. So
yes, it was just we wanted to make a movie with all the worst tropes and continuity issues, so that had to work, man.
Did you have the guy with the bottomless beer that he never finishes drinking because it's always and then it comes all the way back up? Yeah.
No, we should have. Well, we didn't have a scene that would. You have to watch it. It's pretty funny. We have my dad in the beginning of it, which he's been in a lot of stuff that I've done. He wasn't in this one, but he was in the predecessor Tapeworm 2, which is funny because that one started off the whole
Tapeworm
series.
2 is the first one.
Yes. But in Seacaw, he's eating cereal and then the milk is awful, so he pours vodka in it. So there's so much stupid crap. I mean, people love that one.
So how did tapeworms come to fruition?
Okay, so that one is actually a really long kind of trek
Okay.
because originally Texas Frightmare Weekend has these. You make a fake horror trailer and then
Yeah.
they'll screen it. Well, we got hit up to do one after we were doing some of the small stuff because a good friend of mine, Billy Pond, he's the director of Circus of the Dead, fabulous filmmaker.
Yeah.
Um, but he told me, I want to see you put something out for this. So we decided to make a slasher, just a basic, simple, okay, we can do this kind of thing because everybody makes slashers, you know.
Yeah.
And so I held a casting call, and all these people come in. Well, while we're in the casting call, we're having a conversation with one of my daughter's friends that got fired from his job at Sonic. And this kid he's so left field, man. It was surprising he had a job. Okay. And we're like, why'd you get fired? He said, well, I called in sick with the stomach. And we were like, really? He said, yeah, I told him I had a tapeworm. Well, then I decided, dude, that's not a tapeworm. So I decided to make a movie that was about a tapeworm, but it's not a tapeworm. So we made a fake trailer. We put together all these scenes that had nothing to do with each other that you could never possibly want to see and released that. Well, it got super popular. I went from 100 Facebook fans to 4,000 in a week after it
Damn.
showed. I was like, holy crap. And it was people wanting to see the movie, wanting to see the movie. And I'm like, oh shit. Because I intentionally made it in a way that you couldn't make the damn movie. So, me and one of the actors, Miguel, the guy that plays Herman Monster Hunter,
Okay.
he actually turned out to be like one of my best friends, and he ended up being my assistant director. So he helped me with a lot of stuff. Um, but we sat down one night, sitting there drinking and coming up with how to put all these scenes together as a cohesive story. We managed to pull it off after about 6 hours, have a rough story idea. So I finish up the script. We shoot Tapeworm 2. Okay, yeah, that one goes over really well. We actually get a distribution deal off of a 25-minute short film. Crazy. Lots of people hitting us up, and then they're like, well, we want a feature. I'm like, oh shit. So I got to expand this even more. So that's where Tapeworm 2 or Tapeworm Z came from is I wanted to use a lot of the original actors from Tapeworm 2 because they were fantastic and they helped me get to this point, but I wanted to expand the story to where I really wanted it to be and kind of start touching on the lore, which a lot of people haven't picked up on some of the lore that's in there. And if we make a sequel to it, there's a lot of lore that's already tied in there and circles back around. So it's really cool. If you look at the logo for the hunters on their vest, that logo means something really deep, and people will just go over it. But you can tie all of this stuff back to Viking times, and it's I've rewritten so much stupid lore to make it work with this.
Make it work.
Yeah, I've made it make sense. Like I actually laid it out like that damn meme that floats around with Charlie Day from uh
Always
oh,
Sunny with the Pepe Sylvia.
yep, I could totally do that with this movie, and you'll go, oh, okay, it makes sense.
I see that. All right. Well, and it did because literally, I'm not gonna lie. I'm sitting there, me and my wife are like, "What's going on? I don't know yet." And we kept watching and we kept watching, and then it was like, "Oh, okay." And then I'm like, "Where'd this building come from? Where'd the guys in the mask come from?" And then you get the stuff at the end. You're like, "That's okay, all right." And it all makes sense, and it kind of circles back around. And
Mm-hmm.
but the one thing I got to figure out what, and you can say I gotta wait, or you can tell me whatever. The space dad who just randomly still happens to be here on Earth driving a Kia. Where the hell did he come from?
That ties into the bigger lore.
Okay,
That's
okay.
there because you notice. How can I tell this
Don't
without
want to give nothing
spoiling
away, but
stuff?
yeah.
It's mentioned that uh, they come back.
Yeah.
Well, that means they've been here in the past. And the way this sect of hunters go, it's much bigger than just these guys.
Yeah.
But on the planets that have sentient beings, they actually station one of their guys there as kind of a buoy so that they can contact, like,
Okay. Yeah. Like a front spotter, front
yeah,
line guy. Yeah.
because you notice he knew they were there, even though you never saw them have any kind of contact.
Yeah.
Yes, that's because they're there for a reason.
Okay. That makes sense. So we go tapeworm the what trailer, and then we go tapeworm to the short. Now we got tapeworm Z. Are we gonna get tapeworm super for the next one? Like
Uh,
Dragon, does it evolve like Dragon Ball Z?
Actually, it's
Dragon
funny
Ball.
because what I'm working on is currently working title is Evolution
Okay.
because, well, you've seen the movie.
Yeah.
It sets up for a lot of future kind of stuff.
Nice. Cool. I love and I'm a huge fan of indie films, and I have a lot of friends in indie films, and I get some people will put their heart and everything into these, and then we're laughing at them, and I feel bad sometimes, but I'm like, I'm enjoying it. Do you want me
Yes,
not to enjoy it? I mean, I
right.
yeah, I'm here, I'm laughing at it, and I'm getting into it. And because I had one guy's like, well, it's not really a funny movie. I'm like, it was for me. I
Right.
I liked the movie. I thought it was hilarious. I'm sorry it wasn't meant to be hilarious.
Yeah, I try to. I'm weird. I just want people to have fun. I know I'm an indie, and
Yeah.
I'm not going to change the fucking world, but like, I want people to have a good time
Oh
watching
yeah.
this shit. And that's why you'll start getting really deep into shit. And then I'll literally break the fourth fucking wall and just call it out. Like, why are you taking this so seriously? Like, when he bitches about it's nothing like a tapeworm.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, bro. Really? Or, no, what's the other one? It's still Doc, too. I love Doc because he's my character to just shatter everything and pull everybody out of the seriousness. Um, God, what was it? I can't think right now.
I do have to
What
look
is the
it up.
second one he does that pulls you out of it, and it points out the fact that you're taking this movie too serious at this point.
Oh yeah. Well, I got to tell you this. I have a weird OCD collection thing that I collect movies that have painted Nerf guns on the cover art.
Yes.
So I have to get a copy of this one to go with my other one. My
Fuck
favorite
yeah.
one is what Australians, yes, whatever. But it is that's my favorite dumb cover with a Nerf gun on the front.
Dude, they're great. I've got like four of them in there. Of course, I painted the shit out of
Oh
them.
yeah, dude. I got one is I have probably 200 Nerf guns between me and my kids. And then I
Nice.
get guns. Oh man, I have my comic shop, so people sell me like airsoft guns all the time. So legit, it looks like I have an armory in the back room. I have like a sniper rifle, an AR, I got an AK-47, I got pistols, I got shotguns, I got MP5s. And everybody's like, why do you keep these? I was like, because I got friends that work in film, and they're always like, can I borrow some guns? I'm like, here you go.
Yes.
I get a weapon master credit. What? I got to show you something though, real quick. Here. Well, my kid was playing with the Nerf gun here a minute ago. So that's what's cool because you can make them look like anything. That's modular as shit. So you can,
Yeah.
yeah. But one of my good friends made this out of a gun con for a PS2.
Nice.
And the best part is it's like,
That's a good trigger.
and You know, you can make guns out of nothing and make them look really cool. I say this one looks like the Blade Runner gun, but
Yeah.
yeah, you guys do a great job with them. I'm not gonna they're fun.
We tried guns, knives, all that.
Well, the only one I couldn't figure out what it was the one that the commander carries. That's the only Nerf gun I couldn't figure out what it was.
Oh, that one's actually not a Nerf gun.
That's why.
It's a digital. I probably shouldn't tell people this shit, but it's a digital one from the dollar store way back. It had this globe on the back that would like spin and light up and shit. But I
Okay.
just painted over that because I didn't want all that kind of shit going on. That was too much.
Hey, the dollar store is a great place for props. So, so how did your cast come together? Because you said you worked with them before on the first one.
Some of them.
Some of them, okay.
Um, let's see. Rosie, Liv, Herman. Who else was from the original? Oh, Kyle, which is actually the girl that plays Liv, Emily Runke. That's her husband. Plays her boyfriend. Um, I think that's it, right? From the original. Yes. But we went and did another casting call. This one was much, much bigger because we had grown a name back home.
Mm-hmm.
Where when I cast for Tapeworm 2, we had like 6 people show up. And luckily they were all good. So they were the 6 that ended up in the movie. And then I built relationships with 5 of them. And that grew. And I was going to use them. But when we did this next one, it was 30, 40 people showed up to casting. It was an all day thing having people come in, read lines with me, my wife, and Miguel, which was Herman. Um, and we cast several of them. Robert Segura plays Emilio, Herman's brother.
Mm-hmm.
Just the sweetest guy, man. I've used him in another short that we did called Dinner Party. And then he did great in this. He played Herman's brother, obviously, in Herman Monster Hunter in the Armadillo episode, which was great. Come on.
Makes me laugh every time I think of Armadillo. It's fucking funny.
Brandon Cervantes, the one he shows up in the credits as Brando, plays Oman. He's actually an old friend of mine. That this was the first thing he's been in of mine, but he was on a kids show on one of the local stations when we were younger, much, much, much younger. Um, Brandon Thomason, who plays Doc, that dude is a phenomenal actor. I met him through Lori, which is Rosie. He's a theater actor back home. And he's been in a few things that I've got. He started out in Bart the Killer, then went on to he played a killer in a short that I did called The Shed. Um, and then he just kind of grew, and man, that guy can do anything you throw at him. He can be super creepy or super friendly. Like in this movie, he's basically both, and it's really weird. Kennedy, uh, she's phenomenal. I met her through Lori as well. She's actually in New York now, going to college for acting. I like to say she's like my Jennifer Aniston because you saw her performance, dude. She's
Yeah.
fantastic. Played the commander.
Yeah.
And that girl, this was the first time she's ever done a movie, but she was a theater actor. And she just did great. She was going to be originally in The Shed that I had made, but unfortunately, she had a family emergency at the time, so we had to make it with somebody else, and I wasn't able to use her. And when we were doing the casting call, I was able to find Chris Hadland and all these other people, and Chris did great for Arno. He came in and just auditioned for a little nothing one-off part, and I saw something in him, and I was like, "You're Arno, bud." So I made him read with Lori and Emily, and well, now you see what he brought to the character. But Kennedy, I never could find anybody. The commander had to be perfect in my mind. It had to be this person.
Mm-hmm.
And even through that casting call, I just couldn't find anybody. And then I remembered that girl and I hit her up. I said, "Hey, can you do a video of you reading this stuff for me?" And I saw that video a few days ago that she sent me, and it is exactly like it is in the movie. She embodied that character and understood it so perfectly. Yeah, that girl's gonna go far. And Chris Hadlin, he's in a couple other. He has a part in Butcher's Bluff right now, and another one I think it's called Passages of Nexus. So you'll see Chris around. And it's a little different coming out here because we don't have the cast, so we're starting basically from scratch.
Yeah, I was just going to ask that. I was going to go, how was it trying to leaving your crew back in Texas?
Scary, terrifying.
So why'd you move to, was it family,
Where we're from is very, very high crime
okay.
and just a terrible, terrible place. There's some good people there, but I mean, the crime is so high and it's violent crime. It's not stealing your car, it's murder and
Ooh,
people breaking into your house and violent crime all over the place. So we just had to get out of there. And out here, it's much better.
okay. That's a very good reason to get the hell out of there.
Yeah, yeah.
So, no, I got to ask because I've met Tony. I've become friends with Tony. How'd you and Tony come together?
What there's a friend of mine on Facebook, Eric Exton. He's a filmmaker, phenomenal talent, man. He just needs to get out there and make something. That's his issue. The dude is wonderful, but he also does reviews, and
Mhm.
he did a review of one of I think it was Tapeworm too. It might have been Limited Horizons, but I think it was Tapeworm too. And Tony saw it and he loved it. So he messaged me and he's like, "Hey, I got this TV show. You think it'd be cool if I played one of your things?" I was like, "Bud, absolutely, go for it. I mean, that helps me out. You know, if it fills spot on yours, cool." Well, they hits me up and he's like, "Hey, so can I play another one?" I'm like, "Sure, dude, play whatever you want." Now that dude has played everything under the sun that I have made on his show. I've actually made shorts making fun of him because he stole one of my jokes one time. And so I made a whole 5 minute short making fun of horror hosts after that. Uh, I'll send you the link, but
Yeah. I,
oh yeah, it roasted him hard because I made him actually do voiceover for it, but didn't tell him what it was.
uh,
And
I,
then he had to play it at a premiere. So the first time he saw it was on a big screen in front of a bunch of people, and it's totally talking shit on him. So he learned the lesson. I don't think he'll steal any more of my jokes.
well, it was funny because I even reached out to him. I was like, dude, if you wanna hop in on tonight's interview, I was like, I sent him the invite just in case. But Tony's a good dude. I reached out to him. Uh, God, it's been a while now. Um, because I was interviewing horror hosts at the time, and me and him, and we like bonded like immediately. And then we've talked online. Then we actually met at Horror Hound one year, and we bullshitted and talked for the entire time I was there because I still worst part about it, I went down there for the Horror Host Hall of Fame, stayed there for the whole thing, ran through the room real quick, bought two things, and then had to drive an hour north to go to open my comic book store. So I was
Oh,
hauling ass. I was 15 minutes late. That's all I
oh.
waited. And luckily, my kid and my best friend were already there. They're like, I was like, I'm on my way. Open, just open the doors. I'll be right there. I love. I had to point that out. I love how we still do this for the phone because
Right, yeah.
yeah. You're like, sorry. I had to bring it to my wife the other day, and I was like, and I still do it. I'm like,
Yeah.
I literally have a phone. I could have went like this.
Yep. Yeah, mine's right there.
Oh yeah. So I always love asking, who inspired you to get into film?
Oh, to get into it, man, that it's something that I've wanted to do my entire life, literally.
Okay.
I remember being a little kid and I was always trying to like watch horror movies around the corner. I mean, we're poor as shit, dude. Like I grew up in a shitty trailer and we were always moving around, but it was shitty trailer to shitty trailer. And like they were falling apart and I'd be in the hallway trying to peek around the damn corner trying to watch what my mom was watching because she's watching horror stuff. And of course, that was, early 80s. And then, but get this, she'd let me watch like the fantasy stuff, like we were talking about earlier. Totally fine with me watching that stuff. And let's
Oh
be
yeah.
honest, that damn thing in Beastmaster with the wings
Oh yeah.
that still scars me to this day. I'm just putting that out there. But no horror movie's ever done that. But I was always like saying we should make that movie, of course, not knowing how to do it. And then I started seeing when I was 12. This is probably the moment that did it for me. I was I can't believe I'm going to admit this shit. So I go with my cousin. I'm 12, he's 13, and he's got this crush on this girl. She lives right down the way. We go over to their house, and she's got a sister that's 14, she's 15. So we're right around there, and my cousin's trying to make out with this girl, and this other girl's all kissing on me. Of course, I'm 12, so I'm getting into it, kind of, but not really. But they have this movie on TV, and I start seeing what's going on, and it's like guts being ripped out. And I'm just like, what the hell is this? And I'm hyper focused on the movie while this girl's trying to kiss on me. And I'm like, what is this? And for years, I thought the movie was called Donna the Dead. So once I figured out what was going on there, it just kind of opened up a whole world to me. It being able to see over the top effects like that. George Romero was a huge FX inspiration for me because I love that stuff. But when it came to me seeing something that was like, holy shit, I could actually do this, it was the Evil Dead 2. The mixing the comedy with the horror, dude, that was it for me. I was done. I was like, I could do that. That is totally what I could do. And then I spent the next couple decades saying, oh, we should make a movie about that. We should make a movie about that. Until one day I really got pissed off because I said it one too many times and I said, all right, we're gonna actually do this. And that's where serial killer alien werewolves came from. On a Tuesday I said it. And then I said it to two of my friends. And I said, you know what, we're gonna do it this time. And they were like, we don't know how. I said, well, fucking figure it out, bud. So I go on Craigslist and I buy a shitty Sony handy cam, a little cheap shit, $100 I paid for it on Craigslist. And when I met up with the guy to get the camera, he's like, "Hey, I have this thing too, and it's a Tascam audio recorder, which I totally needed. Didn't know I needed it. I'm like, it's got a microphone, but I'm fine. Should have totally bought it because I spent the rest of the time recording audio on my cell phone. If you watch that movie, watch the atmosphere because you'll see my cell phone laying somewhere, and that's recording the audio.
Uh, hey, everybody's got that learning curve, man. If we didn't learn, like literally, I started making movies with my friends. I want to say junior high because my one buddy's dad had a camcorder.
Nice.
And so we were legit like taking camcorder footage, recording it, and then taking two VCRs, sometimes three, and recording them so that you could record everything together. And we thought we were freaking cool. And the worst part, I have no idea what ever happened to any of that.
And
I play a killer because I'm going to be the badass guy. Dude, I'm 12 or 13. I was in junior high, so you can't be a badass killer when you're a little kid.
right.
I filmed a cool scene because I thought it was going to look really cool in film. Like I'm hiding in the pool, and I'm like, and the girl leans over, and I reach out and I pull her into the pool, and then I open up a baggie full of blood in the water, and I'm like, this is going to look awesome. And it just goes bloop, and it just then the chlorine works. And I got rid of it like almost instantly, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay,
Well, that didn't work.
yep. Now we know for next time.
Yep.
Uh, So did you ever go down that way? You never went down that way as a kid, like just
No, no, dude, in Odessa it was very cliquish. We didn't have any access. The people that we hung out with were in the same poverty level as us. Nobody
okay.
had stuff like that. I mean, I think the rich kid got a Nintendo and had Mario. That was it. And he only got it because there was like three kids having to share it, kind of thing, you know?
It's a family gift. You always,
Yeah.
yep,
Yeah.
right.
Never, I moved on and started playing music and got away from that. I mean, in all of those years, I probably could have bought camera gear, but I started spending all the money on guitars and amps and stuff. And then,
I was gonna say, so you just take one money pit and turn it into
yeah,
another money
yeah,
pit.
that's all I did.
What kind of music do you play?
Death metal.
Death metal?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
What was the name of your band? First band?
Adipocere.
Okay. Because that sounds like a cool name.
Yeah.
Everybody's first band name was horrible. Mine was. I mean,
Oh, dude, I don't even remember my first band, but that was the last band. And the title actually came out of Leatherface, Chainsaw Massacre 3, because
yeah.
it's talking about all the bodies and shit. And that was our opening coming on stage. It was cool, man. I got to play with a lot of bands that I listened to. So that was it was a great experience, but arthritis started kicking in my wrists and elbows and I couldn't play like that anymore.
Yeah. I
Yeah, I
played
tried to
bass.
play other types of music, but it wasn't the same.
Yeah.
So just
I totally feel you. I got no feeling in these two fingers. And I played.
oh yeah, I've got that left hand. See? Yep,
Yep.
it's that stupid nerve right there.
See, I had a big knot on that wrist forever, and it went away because I crushed it. And then it's never been the same. I got nerve damage, I got back pain, and all that fun stuff.
Yeah. Isn't it weird how it's only this side of that finger and not this side?
No, no, mine is it's this side of the hand. It goes down through here, and it kind of goes down in here. These are almost always completely numb. These used to go numb, and then I started doing some stuff that my therapist told me I needed to do, and then I kind of got feeling back in these. And I got feeling because I got really lazy about stuff, so I just reach in like the oven and grab stuff and throw it up on the thing because I never felt it.
Right.
And so one day I reached in and I burnt myself. And I'm like, I got feeling. And I was like, oh, I was so happy I burnt myself.
Yeah. That's
And my wife just yells at me. She goes, that's why there's pot holders or whatever, oven mitts. She goes, don't be a dumbass. She goes, my dad used to do the same thing. We'd work on cars. And we'd be out there working on a car that as it's still hot and it just got done running. We're in there working on it. I didn't feel it. So, but although you got no feeling in his hand, you drop the wrench, you're like, and it's gone. It's gone.
yeah. That's it. Got to get a new one.
Oh yeah. But oh man, this is fun. But I gotta ask before I completely go off topic again. Why did you decide to do the end post credit stuff instead of putting that into like the film itself? Or is that for
Well, it's really like the format that you looked at. It's not post credit. On the Blu-ray DVD, it's special features, but on the format that I sent to you, it just plays it that way.
okay?
It's so weird. So yeah, they're actual features.
Yeah, because that seems like that would be like. See, that would be funny if that was just always on in the TV in the background while they're in rooms and stuff. That's what I kind of feel like it would have been. And I'm like sitting there watching it, and I'm like, okay, now I know what's going on here.
I mean, you do have it at one point.
Yeah, you got a little bit of it, yeah.
But funny thing about that haunted house that we're in, if you look, the name is there, and there's a cameo for Circus of the Dead when she's sitting on the couch. There's a whole sign for it.
Yep, I seen
My
that.
buddy Billy owns that haunted house, which is the guy that was watching Herman Monster Hunter in the movie. So, like I said, there's a lot of stuff. If you know all of the stuff, you can piece it all together and go, "Oh shit, okay." Or you can just enjoy it without all of that.
So, do you have your own avatar of yourself in that movie? That's not you in the movie?
No,
No, you don't.
And honestly, the only reason I was in it is Ocho and Emily and all of them throwing a fit because I wasn't doing a cameo. Because I actually had somebody that I was going to use for that role. I don't like being in front of the camera. I absolutely hate being in front of the camera. Only time that I've done it willingly was the Killer Sandwich short. That was a short that I made to make fun of Eric Exton, the guy that I was talking about that introduced me to Tony. So you should watch it. People love that one, man. But I actually acted in that one as Exton.
So that's how all your movies come to fruition is you're making fun of somebody else and it becomes
Usually, yeah. Yeah. Or I wanted to test a shot, so I'll do that. Like um uh dinner party. That one's making fun of people that eat well done steak. Yes.
we had one guy that we took with us once when we used to hang out after we closed on Saturdays, and he got a well cooked steak, and we're all just like, "You need to apologize." It's like,
Yeah. Yeah, you need to go watch some of the shorts, dude. I think you'll really enjoy them.
I'll have to check them out. I'll
Yeah,
take a
we've
look at
done
them.
everything from serious shorts to most of the time I'm just goofy. I don't like to take shit too seriously. So I've got puppets that kill you. I did a stop motion like the 70s type stop motion. That was a pain in the ass. I will never do that again. But it's funny as shit. It's about two gnomes that are going up a mountain to find magic mushrooms. So, but one of them gets tricked into it. He thinks he's saving somebody. So, yeah, it's dumb shit, bud.
Well, you're having so much fun doing this, and you can
Yeah,
tell.
absolutely.
And that's what's when it becomes a job. That's when you just got to step back and like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah,
And you already got the next one on the horizon? You working on your
I've
next one?
actually got 4 projects I'm working on right now.
Thought I was a busy person. Jesus Christ.
No,
So,
no.
so how does your family deal with you working all the time? And because I got to
They're,
find out so I can explain to my wife how you can do it and I can't.
I couldn't do this without my wife, man. She is super supportive over all this. When I had to stop playing guitar, she really she saw what I was going through. So doing this was a big thing for her because I have that joy again that I didn't have.
Yeah, yeah,
And yeah, we've been doing this 8 years now,
nice.
and there's a lot we've done, really, if you think about it. But it's just it's more about getting everybody together and doing it than anything.
I
I have these stupid ideas that I just want to see because nobody else is making them, and then I do it.
so I have to ask you this because this is what I'm running into now. I had a short that was going to be on a anthology. I had it plotted. I didn't really script it because I want to kind of see how people go with what I want them to say, rather than what they would say, rather than what I the words I'm putting in their mouth.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I had some of the cast. I had started getting props. I had locations, and then all the actors sort of kind of started going. And I'm like, so whenever I find these guys like you put movies out that like I was like, man, how the hell do you get everybody together and get them to stay together without like, oh, I can't be there this weekend. I got a job this weekend. I can't be here, whatever. So
Yeah, scheduling is one of the worst parts. It really is. If I could have people that were there every time I needed them, I would be able to kick shit out way faster. Um, but like Tapeworm Z, I was bringing people in from out of town, and Kennedy moved away right mid shooting, so we had to wait until we could get her down. And all of her scenes were with Chris Hadlin. He lives in Oklahoma, so we had to set up travel for all of them, and it was a nightmare. But most of them were local actors, and they were pretty free. Especially like Tapeworm Z, all happens in a night,
yeah,
which was a fucking bitch. Believe it or not, it was. I thought it was brilliant because, okay, I get to control lighting. I can make it the same.
Mm-hmm.
No, that means we have to shoot all fucking night long some nights.
Well, I seen there's one scene where they're in a car and it's raining, and it's not raining anytime else through the entire thing.
Yes.
Man, how long was your total shoot? Do you know?
That shoot between there was some bullshit that we went through. I hired a director of photography, and then turned out that he didn't know what he was doing. Was using autofocus on a lot of scenes, and you can't do that on video.
No.
Um, so there were scenes where I had actors up as close as your camera is to you, and you couldn't even tell who it was. So we had to do a bunch of reshoots and stuff. This movie felt cursed because it took a little over 2 years to get to this point. And I'm used to kicking things out pretty fast. Like Tapeworm 2, I kicked out in 14 days. I mean, we usually get it done, but this one, just after all the things we had to run into, it was a nightmare. It was a real nightmare.
Damn. So after all the bullshit you put up, is this the one you're most proud of?
I mean, I hope everybody is. Like at this point, with everything that went wrong, I'm just glad it's done and I can move on to the next thing.
So is the next one
out, but
yeah, staying in Tennessee for film the next ones then, right? Not going back to Texas.
yeah, absolutely.
Oh man. So so I gotta ask, since you do your own special effects makeup and stuff like that,
Uh-huh.
were you one of them kids that I always ask, were you one of the kids that had the VHS tapes or that recorded the VHS tapes of the Tom Savini stuff?
No, I didn't know there was access to stuff like that. Like, I was what 15, 16 by the time we got our first VCR, bud.
Damn. So I'm gonna ask. I gotta ask. And you can say yes or no. How old are you?
47.
47. Okay, we're close. 49, so we're right there. Yeah. I was one of them kids that I remember getting the Tom Savini VHS tape and recording it
God, I
and
wish I could have.
just watching the shit out of it. Then I did because I don't know if you remember back at Fangoria, you could do tape trading. You could find somebody who had, this tape or some like foreign film or something like that you were looking for, so you could send them a copy of something else. And I ended up getting uh I think the Dick Smith one through that way. I had like a VHS copy of it that I recorded off of a recording off of it. Looked like shit because it was like 18th generation. But it was still showing you how the guy did the makeup in The Exorcist. So
Oh, that's pretty awesome.
yeah, that yeah, it's you do a great job. I mean, those are fun. I'm not gonna lie. Snake tits. Holy fuck.
Dude, that
Yeah,
was one of those cursed things.
I'm
Actually,
sitting there. I'm literally just took a drink, and I went. I'm like, take a drink off my drink. So I'm literally like this. This is my cup. I'm like trying to find a napkin, trying not to spit it out. And then when he says run down, they did it. I'm like, oh my god, hold on. And my wife is dying on the couch next to me. I'm about to spit all over myself, and I'm like, oh my god, that's gonna be a thing now. That's gonna be.
yeah, that was so that one. I that was one of those cursed things because I pre-made that so that I could just glue them right onto her tits, and we could move the fuck on with filming. Right, so
Mhm.
prefabbed it all as a prosthetic, so it was nice, and I had it. I had days to make it. It was so fucking simple. And then when we go to apply them, her tits are so rock hard that the prosthetics won't go around them. They're nothing like real tits. They're like hard as a rock.
Yeah.
So I had to rebuild the whole effect right then and there on her tits.
Was it cold that night?
No, that was in July in Texas. So it was hot as shit.
Fuck. Yeah, as my dad told me when I was going to move to Texas. Remember, In the summer, it get like 115 degrees. The rest of the year is just hot.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, Dad, I'll stay up here in Ohio. But holy crap. But no, I'm not gonna lie. That movie, like I said, I had so many questions, and I don't want to give because I have questions, but they give away. I don't want to give any of the story away.
Yeah.
One thing is, where do snake tits come from?
That's the question.
Yeah, it's a great question. Where'd she come
I
from? She's
mean,
just there.
yeah. I that was one I usually have a backstory for everything, but for her, I didn't. I was just like, okay, let's do this because this will be fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it was. It was. And when he runs back and gets the beer,
Yeah.
I I don't know much about him, but man, that guy's got fucking comedic timing for days, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He's really good, man. Ocho was funny as hell.
Yeah. Holy crap. My wife's like, he better not die. He's so good. I like him. I'm like, he's going to die. You know he's going to because we all like him. Nobody we like will ever survive a movie.
Yeah, that's pretty much the rule of thumb.
Oh yeah. So you're moving forward. You've already got 4 projects on the horizon. Is Tapeworms Evolution the next one, or there's
I
something
don't know
between?
if it's going to be the next one. It depends on how this one does.
Okay.
If this one does well, because this one cost me a lot of money out of my own pocket, believe it or not.
I can believe it. I got
But the next one, there, it's a lot bigger on effects. The stuff that I've written, it's going to be a chore.
it.
It's a lot more. It's not as campy or funny. It's more moving the story on to where it should be.
Okay.
Um, you'll still have your elements, but it's going to be more straightforward.
Okay. So you said you had a somebody picked up the other ones. Did anybody pick up this one yet?
I've got a couple offers, one of which I'm going to take, but it's bad luck to talk about that stuff.
Okay. Okay. No, all you had to do is say, "Yep, nope, no, I'm good."
Yep.
So are you on the convention circuit? Are you out there busting your
Uh,
ass going to
I'm
work?
doing a couple this summer, and then we'll see from there.
Okay.
Uh, I've got one coming up this coming weekend, Mag Comic Expo in Knoxville. All three of these are in Knoxville. I'm doing FrankenCon in May, and then we're doing CreepyCon, which is the big boy out here, in August. So that should be a lot of fun.
I had every intention of going to FrankenCon last year, and I can't remember what happened. Something came up, and I could not go. I couldn't go to any conventions I had planned last year. Like the ones that I was going to go as, not as not as a dealer or anything like that. I was supposed to go to Haunted Screams Expo in Virginia, and I had double booked myself that weekend. So I was at it. I could either do a show where I'm the guest and make almost no money if I made any
Uh-huh.
money and spend money, or I could do a show where I'm setting up as a dealer and make money. And I'm like, I need to make money. I'm so
Yeah,
so
yeah, funny how that works.
oh man, and I was supposed to be working on my movie, and that got postponed, which is awesome because the actual movie got postponed. So I guess if I get it done and get it to him, I'll be in good shape. If not, the script has evolved into another script that I can shoot my own movie, and it's not a short, and I still have the funding. I don't have,
Nice.
but I got funding. So I got a producer, and he's gonna stick with me until I get the movie out, depending on what I do. So yeah, it's, it's nice knowing people that got money and don't know what to spend it on.
Right? I
Robbie,
wish I had one of those.
it's like Robbie, give me some money. And yeah, but then sometimes he's like, "Why do I need to give you money?" I'm like, "Because I want to make a movie." Am I going to be a producer? You'll be a producer on it. I'll give you credits. I'll give you points. I'll do the whole 9 yards for you. You'll be the first one to make money before I do. Uh, so, um, well, let's see here. So are you going to be able to bring anybody from Texas up here for your next one?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I've got a couple that I'm bringing for some pretty major parts because out here I'm having a hell of a time finding people, and I know these people can deliver what I need.
Nice, yeah. So that's one thing good about our area is huge indie film. What did you just do, cat? Oh, my cat's trying to climb up on my record player and just fell off. So,
Oh,
and now I got to go check my record player, make sure it ain't all buggered. Um, but yeah, there is a really good indie film, especially indie horror film scene in the at least Ohio, Northern Kentucky area. I don't know how far it goes down into there, but at least it's not that far away from you. You can still get some people from up here and down there. So
yeah,
yeah, and there's going to be the people who are just in every movie ever at the dawn of time.
right.
I got to ask you how you feel about that. This is one of the ones where I talk about how there's like these indie movie actresses that are in every super low indie budget movie, and almost the moment you see them, you're like, and I'm out of the movie.
Yeah, I I almost brought one of them in, and well, how can I say it? I didn't like what she was doing on social media, so I didn't want it associated with my stuff.
I get it.
Um, because she was just negative, negative, negative all the time, and then she was getting her cat high on social media, like blowing smoke in its face, and I was like, dude, I'm out. Oh, I'm not doing that.
No, that's
I
not the best.
mean,
You get high all you want. Don't do that to your animals.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit what you do. Just what the hell are you doing, dude? And she's doing it on camera, on her social media. It's like, nah, bro. I don't need that.
No, that's not cool. The worst thing I do is, damn cat.
Uh-huh.
And the dogs ain't down here, so you don't hear damn dog. Uh, before we get too far, get to here to the end because I don't want to keep you too long. Where can people find you online at?
Slashandchill.com. Everything is on there. You can order Blu-rays, DVDs, even merch there. Um, all of these short films that I've been talking about, if you scroll to the bottom of the page, you can click on them and watch them from there.
Nice, cool. I'm gonna ask you because I want to use I put trailers on and commercials on one of my other shows. Can I use one of your trailers to throw there?
Absolutely.
And then I'll put a link so people can like, hey, if you like this, go check out the show, then go check them out. Then they'll come to this episode, and then they can go find the rest of your stuff. Marketing.
I appreciate that.
Marketing. So I do ask this of all the directors, and I almost let this one slide. If money's no object, this is the first part of two questions here. Money's no
Oh,
object. What actor or actress are you bringing in your movie?
damn, I don't know. Bruce Campbell's probably.
That's the big one. Bruce Campbell is almost everybody's answer. Okay, second part of two-part question here. Um, you could play in any IP sandbox. What IP are you playing in? What franchise are you going after?
See, this is a loaded question because I don't really enjoy fan films. Like, I write all my own stuff. I mean, to answer the question, I'd say probably Hellraiser.
Okay, that's not bad. I see me if I ever did a Hellraiser movie, I'd have to do completely different Cenobites because
Yeah,
I
that's the
would I
whole
would
point.
I would go back to the old Marvel Epic comics and go to the other Cenobites that are in hell and whatever and
Well,
yeah
that would be the fun thing is there's no rules.
yeah hell yeah. So and if you do get to make it up here for Archon in June, you can ask Pinhead. He'll be there, or
Oh,
one of
nice.
them. You're one of them. I don't have enough money to afford the good Pinhead. I have to afford
Oh, no Doug Bradley. Okay,
no
yeah.
Doug Bradley. I can't afford Doug Bradley yet. I got Paul Taylor, and he's good. He's pretty good for Hellraiser Judgment.
Yeah,
I talked to everybody who worked on that movie, and with the budget they got, the time they got, I don't think they did bad. They did
I
pretty
thought
good.
it was all right.
Yeah, for and when you really start finding out behind the scenes stuff, because I talked to Gary Tunnicliffe, the guy that directed it, the guy that played the auditor. Talked to Paul, the pinhead. I talked to Mike, the special effects guy, also one of the other Cenobites. And you just heard it. They're like, okay, well, we're gonna let you make this movie. Here's your budget, and it's all just to keep the. And he had used a character. He created a character. He put that character in the movie to continue it, so he didn't have to make a costume. So he kept the prices down,
Mhm.
and it gets really shady. He goes, it's not as bad as the one before that, Revelations. He
Yeah.
goes, literally, they made stuff for Doug Bradley, and Doug Bradley's like, yeah, I'm not doing that because they only offered Doug Bradley like $1,000 to be in the movie. And he goes, I can't even buy a refrigerator for that. So yeah, he goes, I'm out. And so that's what the problem was they just kept taking the money away and but they wanted to keep the rights. So they were just like, okay, go film this movie. He goes, his students, his special effects students, they got like, I think he said like a $5,000 budget on Revelations,
Oh my
and
God.
they shot it, and the students wanted to work on a Hellraiser movie so they could have that on their thing, and they slept in the bus on the floor just so they could get that credit on their and I'm like, and to find out that the makeup was for a different guy. That's why the guy's face looks fat and huge because it was makeup made for somebody else. And then when Paul Taylor came in, he's got the same build as Doug. He's about the same height. He's the same gauntness and everything. So it worked for him. So,
Yeah.
yeah. And the costume wasn't bad looking either, for given the fact that there was no budget.
Yeah.
And it's amazing because we're like, oh man, they had no budget. How much was their budget? Like 125,000. You're just like, oh, fucking no budget, whatever. So,
Yeah. Give me 125,000. Let me.
I'll make the next Star Wars on $125,000.
Well,
I would. My a friend of mine goes. He's a movie maker, and I said, man, I wanted to make a movie that took place in the '80s. And if you know how hard it is to get stuff from the '80s, I'm like, not in my house, it ain't. Wait a minute, let me step aside and go. I can. I drive a 1985 Crown Vic. I have a 1982 Camaro. I can pull this off.
right?
But yeah, I was like, I was like, yeah, I could do that. I could make it look like from the '80s. I could do a Stranger Things type movie and like that. So yeah, that's hot right now. So I probably should
Yeah.
jump on that before it goes cold.
Right? Get it done. What are you doing?
Yeah. As my wife goes, what? You need one more thing to do? Uh, so, but your wife supports you, which is awesome. Your kids are in your movies. How do your kids feel about being in the movies?
Well, some of them dig it. My oldest, Jacob, he's more behind the scenes. That's why you
Okay.
see him more in the credits. He's done cameos, but he likes to help with props and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, that's where I'm at. My one son wants nothing to do with being on film. I'm trying to get him to take a picture so he can make a mocked up album cover. And I was like, dude, they're going to see you on film for like a half a second. And he goes, well, can I wear makeup so they can't see my face? I'm like, I don't, you fucking do Alice Cooper makeup. I don't care. I was like, literally, I'm going to be wearing like a leather jacket, have my bandana real low and sunglasses and shit. Look like an 80s metal guy. Oh, yeah, I can do that. I was like, you can cover your face. And ain't nobody going to see you.
Yeah, yeah, and that's how I tricked Jacob into. He actually, uh, the one that's coming through the haunt chasing Doc.
Yeah.
That's actually my oldest son in that mask. The one that's laughing.
Yeah, the one with the big hammer.
Uh-huh. Yeah, that's actually Jacob.
That's cool. That's cool when you can get your kids in it and stuff. Then they can go like, what were you doing last weekend when you're I was in a movie. I was
Yeah, it's normal for them. They're just like, okay.
yeah. You go home to school. Well, did you ever get do you ever get the reports home from your kids from teachers and be like, your kids said that they were making movies all weekend? Was that really?
No,
Yeah.
because my kids have taken digital arts, so and they excel. When they get stuck, they're
Nice.
like, "Hey, Dad, I need your help with this graphic, or I need your help with this," and it's like, okay. My oldest, when he was taking it, he was like, man, I'm trying to use these shots to get this creepy feel. And I was like, oh, give it to me. And 5 minutes later, handed it back to him. He's like, yep, that's it. Thank you.
Nice, nice. And that's so cool that you're working with your family like that. That is awesome.
Yeah.
And how many kids you got?
4.
Four? Me
Yep.
too. Damn.
23, 21, 16, and 14.
Okay. 32, 20, God, he's 27, 28. And the other one's 25 and then 13. So
Oh, wow.
yeah. Surprise one. And but no, man, it has been a blast. Your movie was so much fun. And if you go in for something serious, you're going to be sadly mistaken, but you will be thoroughly happy with the fact that you're laughing your ass off through this movie at these people, and you're just like, oh my god, they can't get any dumber, and they got dumber. Oh, okay. It's just a blast. It's one of the movies that I love. It reminds me so much of that, like late '80s, straight to VHS era, when anybody, everybody was making a camcorder, and the blood was, they did whatever they could to make it look the best they could. This is one I have to tell you, because I think a little bit similar to this in this movie. When I was a kid, I watched a horror movie, and if you slowed it down, the blood was not coming from the guy, it was being thrown on the guy. So if you watch, it just goes, and blood goes everywhere. But when you watch it, like it's like not there, not there, not there, and then it's coming in frame by frame, and then it hits him, and he's like, and then it looks good because it's all like that. But it's all, yeah, the guy's just standing there and it gets blood thrown on him, and I'm like, I think he did that in that scene.
I didn't do that.
Okay, so
no, if you have blood coming from somebody, I figured out a way to make blood come from somebody.
Okay. Because there's the one where the guy's like, and all of a sudden there's blood everywhere, and I'm like, did they just throw blood at him? I was like,
are you talking about when the worm hits Zeiss?
I think so.
The green stuff?
Yeah.
Okay, that was spit at him, so that was projectile.
Okay. That was, and the disappearing spit on the front of the car.
Oh yeah.
I was there going, where'd it go? Where's the continuity guy? Aren't you the continuity?
Yep. Yeah, that was because we had to. Those 2 shots were set up 6 months apart because of all the reshoots and stuff.
Holy shit, Batman! That sucks.
You'd be amazed. You at the order this was shot in, you would be amazed that we had any movie.
I can see bits and pieces of it, but it literally just looks like it might be a few days apart, not months apart.
No, there was some of those scenes were the trailer scene, the titty snake scene.
Mm-hmm.
The part of him walking with him in the trailer to the backyard was a year and a half apart.
Holy crap. A year and a half?
Same place.
That does not look like it's that far apart. You damn, that's impressive. Congratulations, sir.
Thanks.
That's impressive, man, that you're able to make it look like it's still the same. As I figured, okay, I'm like, we're watching it, and I'm like, man, I wonder how many days he filmed this over. I mean, because it's definitely over like probably a couple weeks, I'd think. And then you're like, 2 years, and you're like, oh, shit, I was way off.
Yep.
Because if you'd have tried to done that with me a couple years ago, make me film something 2 years apart, you would just see the beard go from gray to dark to gray to dark. My hairline would be like, there's hair and there's not hair. There's hair.
Yeah. Yeah, if you look, there's a difference in Kennedy's hair length. Her hair is about this much different on a couple scenes, but they're all mixed in, so you don't notice it.
Yeah, I have to check that out next time I watch it. That's now I'm gonna have to go back because you told me all these Easter eggs. I'm like, all right,
Oh yeah. Oh, there's a lot I can give you after we get off here too.
okay, okay, all right. Well, on that note, I'm hopefully I hate to say this, this will probably drop tomorrow at noon Eastern Standard Time if I can
Nice.
get edited because I don't have nothing to drop for tomorrow. So um, I got way behind. I'm not gonna lie. It was my anniversary, and then I had a comic show and everything else. So it's like I took off from two of my four shows, and
Oh wow.
I'm back. I do group therapy, which is what you're on. I do one called Talk and Roll, which is we just talk music, but we're talk from we had a guy who was a like a retro hair glam guy to synthwave to I've actually got a couple bigger bands. I had the band Health on there. I had Dead on a Sunday. And then I've gotten people from all over I got people from all over the world. I got Sweden, Norway, Spain, and England.
Oh
And
wow.
yeah, and that we do that one on Thursdays, and I do Sci Fridays, which is my sci-fi show where I host old sci-fi shows from back in the day, and Saturday morning serials. And I show Saturday morning cartoons like they were meant to be with
Fuck yeah.
commercials and uh, bumpers and PSAs and you name it. I put them all back in. So
Nice.
yes, and
That's what it should be.
oh yeah, fucking I love that stuff. My goal is to make sure physical media never disappears. And if you ask my wife, she goes, "You don't need to collect all of it." Uh,
I mean, it can't hurt.
can't hurt now. She goes, "Do you really need? How many copies of Star Wars do you need?" So, oh, I don't have it on beta yet.
Yeah. Yeah, I have so many copies of The Dark Knight. My wife is like, no.
Dude, I found two the other day. Came through the store. I didn't even know it existed. So, but all right. Well, I'm going to end this episode right here.
Right, man.
And we can talk about the movie. So you guys need to go find it when it drops. Tapeworm Z. Go to Slash and Chill and go watch all the stuff. Lead to the trailers to Tapeworm Z and enjoy it, and then go find this gentleman right here. So on that note, y'all have a good night, and we will see you later.
Thanks for having me, man.
No problem, man.